Mother's Day is almost here. Well, Steven Singer Jewelers wants to help you tell moms in your life every single day how appreciated they are. He's introducing his brand new limited edition 24 karat gold dipped blue moon rose for Mother's Day. Skip the flowers that die in a week. These last forever. Steven Singer Jewelers signature gold dipped roses. They're real roses dipped in real 24 karat gold, and they're guaranteed to last a lifetime. Give her something she can look at and remember how loved she is all year long. Picture a brilliantly blue rose, bright blue rose with diamond-like sparkles. Blue roses symbolize rarity and admiration, which makes it the perfect gift to honor moms. This forever gift is a real long-stemmed rose, and it's dipped in 24 karat pure gold. I don't know how they do it. It's like Arnold Schwarzenegger at the end of Terminator 2, I guess, but he does it. Steven has his full lifetime guarantee. It comes to you in an impressive gift box and your own personal Mother's Day note. Shipping's always complimentary. That means free, yes. Order now exclusively at IHateStevenSinger.com. Hurry, because these will not be restocked and supplies are limited. Nothing says I love you like a real authentic Steven Singer 24 karat gold dipped rose that lasts forever. Only available from Steven Singer Jewelers in Philly or online at IHateStevenSinger.com.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. I don't know if you knew this, but anyone can get the same premium wireless for $15 a month plan that I've been enjoying. It's not just for celebrities. So do like I did and have one of your assistants switch you to Mint Mobile today. I'm told it's super easy to do at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show. Entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Indeed, it is the Anthony Cumia Show. Thank you for tuning in. Because you tune a radio, right? My guest tonight is a dear friend. We worked together. He was my co-host back on the Compound Media days. He hosts a show on Blaze TV, Normal World, and he's got a new book out, Party of One, that is insane. It's like this, you shouldn't confess this much. This could probably get you put away. Statute of limitations be damned. But it's a very entertaining read, and it'll make you feel like you weren't all that bad growing up. Mr. Dave Landau. Dave, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing good, man. How about you?
Great. Apparently they found it in their infinite wisdom to give me another radio show.
I'm as shocked as you are. I'm trying to figure out what I can't say.
Well, it's the old George Carlin bit for the most part, you know.
Good.
Those 7 dirty words, but they've gotten pretty relaxed. I'm one of the more conservative people as far as what I say on the air than a lot of other people, because they'll say things and I'll be like, ooh, could you say that on the radio? I'm thinking way back when I was on FM radio, but enough about me, Dave. How are you? How have you been? I know you're where are you living now? Are you down in Texas?
I am in Texas. Yeah, I still have my place in Detroit, but I live in Dallas. It's very mediocre.
Well, first of all, Dave, your place in Detroit, I've just been. Yeah, squatters live there now, Dave. There's,
is that right?
Yeah, there. You were out for I think 2 hours as I'm reading it here, and squatters have moved in, and you can never ever get back in.
That is the law. It's their home. It's the Wild West here, and it can just be 2 pit bulls, and they'll let them keep the house.
Oh, pit bulls can. They just look at you. They shut the door. The cops go. There's nothing we could do about it. I'm sorry, sir. You've lost your residence. Wow. So how often do you get back to the Big D?
I go back pretty often. I do. It's weird to answer that question like that all the time. I visit the Big D as much as possible. I call it San Francisco.
Yes, and the Big D. Yeah. Oh my God.
My favorite nightclub. I go back pretty often. I go back, then I just saw you got a dog though.
Yeah.
I don't know I want to talk about this, but I saw it.
A Belgian Malinois. Yeah, they're amazing dogs. They're crazy. They're like a lot of fun though. He's got those needle teeth at this point, so he's scratching and biting into my hands. I think I'm going to have to stop taking my blood thinners because I can't have this dog puncturing my hands for the love of God. Yeah, he's great though. He's crazy. He's great though. Like a dog is, it's a commitment. Like I am, you know me, Dave. You've lived with me at one point during COVID. I am not Mr. Commitment. I just am not that guy. So a dog is a big commitment. Cats, you could just leave them alone for a week. Put enough food and water out. You're going to come home to a very smelly house, but they'll be fine. A dog he'll take your car out and go to bars and pick people up. You got to watch a dog constantly.
Yeah, they're a chore. I have two. I love them. They're the best. But I remember Beavis. Beavis would just sit there.
Yes.
Like, I think I shared a room with Beavis briefly.
Yes.
And, it was good times. But Beavis had a little dog in him. He was a little, mischievous, if you will.
Yeah, Beav was a very unique cat, and everyone says that, but he passed away like a year and something ago, so he's
I have
a bonanima.
I know, R.I.P. I have a Cavapoo still, so I look very manly walking it down the street.
Ooh, what the hell? Any poo dogs, any breed. You could say I have a pit poo. I have a pit poo. And it's like, the pit part just goes away. The poo part will overwhelm any pit part. That's kind of it's what, gay? It's the word I'm looking for,
that's
Dave.
The word, yeah. I have a Doodle Weiler. They're the worst. Yeah, I mean, he's the best dog. I love him. But anything that they've made, they've just decided to add poo to it. And then I have to hear people on the left say, like, dogs should be left in the wild. I'm like, what is this thing going to do in the wild?
Yeah,
like hair and makeup. But like it looks like Whoopi Goldberg in Jumping Jack Flash, just real tiny.
It's in their nature to find a porcupine to brush their coat with. There's no way an animal like that would live for a second out in the wild. I don't trust, like, Belgians are really stout dogs. Once they grow up, there's not many other things that could hurt it out in the wild, even here in South Carolina. Maybe a bear. I don't know. It could probably scare bears away. But as puppies, like, I'm afraid to let them out of my sight in the backyard. It borders on the woods back there, and, God knows what's in there, monsters. So, it's this period of time where you got to kind of be chill and watch after the little guy.
Oh, especially when they're young. I mean, I had a Rottweiler for years, and it would chase after squirrels. She would always be jumping after squirrels, and I thought, she's never actually catching them. And then one day I just was cutting the lawn, and I went behind the house, and there's just like a pile of dead bodies, just dead squirrel bodies with broken necks. Like, she was killing them and collecting them, and just left them in a pile all winter. So, like, they will get into everything.
Squirrel holocaust in the backyard. That's terrible. But that's what they do. All right, enough about our wonderful animals. Mine, very masculine and manly. Yours, gay.
Very.
Your book, Dave. I've been perusing this, if I may speak like I actually read, perusing your book.
You.
And I've heard stories from you. We would do breaks on our youth, and yours were very unique because I couldn't put together how those stories happened and how you were still sitting in front of me, a living human being, either not dead or in prison. And the start of the book is amazing. Like it hooks you right away. You talking about, your buddy and the fact that you were drunk at what, 12, 13?
14 was the
14.
real drunk one.
Yeah.
Where basically our parents had to stage an intervention after the first time we drank or got drunk. Not tried alcohol, but I mean really got hammered.
Right. God, I could never understand that. I would assume that after you get drunk the first time, or even the first couple of times, very young, and I used to talk to Jimmy Norton about this all the time because he stopped drinking at a very young age. I believe it was 17 or 18.
Yes, and he never got into anything else, so bless him.
Yeah, as opposed to Dave Landau. The odd thing is, though, you think after you get a little older, like, well, maybe I'm mature enough or old enough to handle it now. What do you think about that logic?
I've thought about it. I just don't think I can. It's because everything I try, I don't have that valve that shuts off.
Right.
I wanted to, and I'm
it's
also
called being an addict, Dave. That's an addict.
Correct.
They have a word for it.
That's what they tell me. I think that's the main reason I'm not in prison is because a lot of it was done when I was a juvenile.
Right.
And I did have to look up some limitation laws when I wrote this. I actually started writing it in your house 5 years ago because I wanted to write.
By the way, I had to start looking up some limitation things too when I wrote my book.
I bet.
See, he's admitting it.
Hey, look at him. Benny Mardonia's over here. I do have that urge where I wonder, especially now because everything's legal. It's crazy to me when you look at something like, okay, you can take ketamine now, or you can, have you ever tried microdosing mushrooms? Like, no, I've tried taking.
Oh, yeah, just yesterday. I just did that. What are you, out of your mind? Of course not.
Well, and they're like, it's used to treat depression. And I'm like, yeah, that's what I was using it for in 1998.
So is a Smith & Wesson 38. It doesn't mean I want to use it.
What's odd is I could have gotten both on the same street.
No doubt. In the Big D. And get the Big D.
And get the Big D all in one house. Just pull up and go, do you have the cure for depression in there? Yeah. All of it.
Everything, right. But it's being so young. What was it that kind of got you into doing drugs so young? I grew up in the suburbs of Long Island, and it was such a taboo. Like, my parents would tell me, don't do drugs. In school, it was don't do drugs. And it seemed a very scary thing. I didn't look at it like in the 80s where kids would go, oh, really? Just say no? Yeah, blow it out your ass. It just made me like, yeah, I don't want to do this. It seems dangerous. It seems like I don't want to get arrested. I don't want to fall in with that crowd. What brought you to doing and pretty hardcore stuff at such a young age?
Well, I mean, two things. One, they did a really bad job with like Dare and Rough McGruff or Scruff McGruff, whatever the hell his name was.
I can't even remember his name. Never mind what he was telling you.
Exactly, yeah. Well,
what? Eat your veggies? What? No, that was Hulk.
Yeah, he wore a trench coat like a flasher.
Yeah.
So it's just, there's nothing. And Barbara Bush was the one who was telling you to just say no, and who didn't want to be just like Barbara Bush. But when I got older, my dad got sick from Agent Orange in Vietnam, and the VA was very helpful. They gave us absolutely nothing. Oh. So he had to pay out of pocket for brain surgery, and he had to go around the country, start having that happening. I was getting watched by like babysitters, and my grandma, my grandma and I had a lot in common, like her Vicodin and morphine patches. She was usually so zonked out you could just throw a party around her.
Turn her on to some microdosing mushrooms. And you
train. Yeah, she would say, "Did you take my pills?" I'm like, "No, go back to bed." So then I'd take more of her pills. She was insane, though. She also had this like big old mansion that was rotted out, and she had a casino in the basement, and that's where I first learned to make drinks. Was out of
like
out of a
spider,
book.
Little spider.
Yeah, like a little
Goodfellas.
Yeah, she used to shoot at my feet and make me dance. It was, but yeah, when that started happening, like a depression kicked in and an anxiety, and I just, you always start with alcohol, which obviously in my book, as you can see, went really well.
You know what's You know what's strange though about that? Like, alcohol does work for anxiety and depression. It really does, but then it doesn't. If they could figure out a drug that was like when you first start drinking that night, and your anxiety and inhibitions go away, and it doesn't end in a crash where you're now more anxious and depressed, and then a hangover where you're physically and mentally screwed up. What a time that would be. But, it works right up till it doesn't.
Right. Well, it's there's a good 15-minute, 20-minute, maybe an hour window of when it's perfect.
Yeah. Yeah,
and
you do
I
everything
feel
better.
warm.
You play darts better. You play foosball better in the bar. There's just this place, this zone where after a few drinks, you are better than you were.
Yes, you become the champion of a women's pool league. It all works out, but you do. You become you're confident. Women are talking to you, and then there's that moment where you have too much, and now there's charges.
Yeah,
and
how quickly?
There's just it just changes so fast. But and the only way that you seem to think like, I know how I can keep this buzz on, and for me, it's just pounding shot after shot and beer after beer to assume I'd be fine. But that just brings me into Brownout Dave, who's really mean, and then Blackout Dave.
How do you know what Brownout Dave's like?
You know, but only because people have told me where they're like, you should call this guy. You need to call him and apologize. I've heard that so many times.
Isn't that great that only other people could tell you what you're like in a brownout and a blackout?
Dude,
that's terrible. I'd like to see me in that, but I guess that can't happen.
Dude, I had to interview people for the book like it was a cold case just to make sure I had all the right information.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I really, and so many people had done it too. Everybody's been there, but I guess the difference is I was there almost every night.
Oof.
And that's just terrible for your brain, I'm told.
Yeah, I'm told. Yeah, it is a thing that, like, it's kind of a rite of passage or a natural thing for any kid, especially a guy. You're in your mid to late teens. That's what you do. And then you get hammered drunk, you black out, you feel like garbage, and you go like, maybe next time. Like, you kind of learn from it. Not immediately, believe me. You could go quite a few years doing this. But there does seem to be this point where most people, anyway, can go, that's not good. That's not a good level of drunk to be. And you just did not have that.
No, I took 13 arrests, and then finally
13.
At the age 13, 12, most as a minor, and then 27. When I was 27, I got my 13th, and that's when they were really going to throw the book at me. And I really had a choice. I either had to go visit the D or get sober.
Oof.
So it was one or the other. And I just got to that point where that's when I decided to clean up.
And how old were you then?
27. So, I went hard for 13 years.
That's kind of you went really hard. Like, but the time-wise, it's not that out of the ordinary, but you fit like a lifetime of screwing up and drinking into 27 years.
Yes, I have CTE from car accidents caused by drinking.
The worst stories I ever heard were your driving stories, because correct me if I'm wrong here. The day you got your license, you got into an accident drunk.
That's correct.
That's correct, sir. That's correct, Your Honor. But I've cleaned up my act. I have a job, and I.
Well, this is also 1998, so I got the astonishing punishments of 6 months with a suspended license.
The 90s truly were the greatest decade.
ever. Where they're just like, you come back in 6 months after you've learned your lesson from getting in a high-speed chase and smashing into a tree. We had my whole family over. It was a family reunion. Everybody went out to dinner. We decided to, have my cousins and I snuck out. I took my dad's car without asking, and we went down to the ghetto. We bought beer, all that stuff, and then we're driving around, drinking, going to parties. And I ended up, I was giving lawn jobs, which is not sexual. Yeah. It's just, brake torquing on
donuts. Like Paulie Walnuts did to Chrissy in The Sopranos. Sure.
Yes, like Paulie Walnuts, and it's why I drive Paulie's car now. The Eldorado.
A big Eldorado. Do you really drive a big Eldorado?
I have the exact same car as Paulie Walnuts.
That is awesome. That is awesome. But that probably came from all your memories and being like, I just want as much metal around me as possible.
That's what it is. I want a car.
There might be a little Dave Landau driving down the street, and he might hit me. Wow, dude.
That's exactly it. But I had to buy it. It was. I'm like, it's a perfect car. It's in some old dude's garage. I bought it basically off of Paulie Walnuts. Just this old Italian guy. I love it. But
now,
yeah,
it's
that
weird.
night,
It's strange because you aren't into any of the tech of the new cars or anything. You like the old push-in cigarette lighter and the brights on the floor, the little nub on the floor.
dude, I love it. I hate the nuisance. I hate that auto stop that actually I think is worse for pollution.
Oh, I hate it. That's the worst thing in a car. I got when Missy's driving and I'm in the passenger seat, it'll stop at the light and I look over at her. She gets mad at me for getting mad at her for not having shut it off. It's like a pilot not closing the canopy when he gets into his fighter. It should be second nature. Hit that goddamn button. I hate it. It shuts your car off at a light.
Yes, for no reason. And really, what puts out more exhaust is stopping and starting a car.
Restarting it, right. And it's killing your starter motor. I used to have starter motors go out on me when I would just manually start it once when I left, and then that was it. When I left again, I'd start. Imagine 50 times a day. You see these Uber drivers use it. I want to smack him in his turban.
You just want to hit him until his earbuds fall out.
What are you? Yeah, well, he's
yelling,
making some horrible, nefarious plans with a friend. Excuse me? They don't even say like, no, I'm talking on the phone. They just continue and you realize, oh, I don't understand this language and it's probably really, really bad.
They just say no English and just keep.
Yeah. They just keep driving. I don't care. Dave, we're going to take a quick break and then we'll be back with more of Dave Landau, his book Party One, available everywhere. And he does host Normal World on Blaze TV. Back with Dave in moments.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Mother's Day is almost here. Well, Steven Singer Jewelers wants to help you tell moms in your life every single day how appreciated they are. He's introducing his brand new limited edition 24 karat gold dipped blue moon rose for Mother's Day. Skip the flowers that die in a week. These last forever. Steven Singer Jewelers signature gold dipped roses. They're real roses dipped in real 24 karat gold. And they're guaranteed to last a lifetime. Give her something she can look at and remember how loved she is all year long. Picture a brilliantly blue rose, bright blue rose with diamond-like sparkles. Blue roses symbolize rarity and admiration, which makes it the perfect gift to honor moms. This forever gift is a real long-stemmed rose, and it's dipped in 24 karat pure gold. I don't know how they do it. It's like Arnold Schwarzenegger at the end of Terminator 2, I guess, but he does it. Steven has his full lifetime guarantee. It comes to you in an impressive gift box and your own personal Mother's Day note. Shipping's always complimentary. That means free, yes. Order now exclusively at IHateStevenSinger.com. Hurry, because these will not be restocked and supplies are limited. Nothing says I love you like a real authentic Steven Singer 24 karat gold dipped rose that lasts forever. Only available from Steven Singer Jewelers in Philly or online at IHateStevenSinger.com.
So good, so good, so good.
Great gifts for mom? We've got them. And they're up to 60% off at Nordstrom Rack stores now.
You know they have Marc Jacobs?
Gotta show mom some love.
That is so good.
Snag amazing deals on Mother's Day gifts from Barefoot Dreams, Kate Spade New York, and more. Great brands, great prices. That's why you rack.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Welcome back. Anthony Cumia Show on this fine Sunday evening with the amazingly funny Dave Landau. Dave's book Party One is out right now. So you started writing this when we were sequestered during COVID, Dave?
I did. I started writing it upstairs when you were playing some video games. I remember that.
Yes, I would scream horrible things and horrible words. I still do, for that matter.
It honestly reminded me of when I was a kid and my dad's friend was having Nam flashback.
Oh, Jesus.
So, yeah, it was good. It reminded me of home. I didn't mind it at all. My dad had them. But yeah, I was trying to figure out how to write this book, and I put it together about 5 years ago. And the reason why I didn't release it yet is, what's in it. I wanted to, I'm putting everything that I've ever done from a certain point in my life onto paper and then sharing it with the world. And I did want to actually ask people like, hey, are you okay with this?
Oh, wow. Yeah, I didn't know that. No, that's pretty cool. Not only
I can tell by his tweets.
Yeah, yeah. Not only cool, but legally sound. You want to do that, but you were doing some insane stuff. And aside from the youthful indiscretions with drinking and driving and stuff, you have some obviously a lot in there about dealing with depression, dealing with your dad passing away the way he did, and then getting into comedy. Like, that's a pretty interesting transition of life.
It is, after 5 years of high school and failing and then going on to do that. It really was beneficial to me. And when we couldn't get on stage then because that whole pandemic happened, and just staying with you, I just was like, all right, I'll just hang out and do this. And we were going over so many old stories, and I just decided to write them down. So
yeah,
I'm glad I got it out. It's cathartic, and then there can be more, chapter 2, where I guess the college years of my Saved by the Bell little book here. But I was happy to get it out, and it's been very positively received, which is cool.
Yeah. And you're gigging, you're out there all the time. I see you're doing live shows, and I see clips all the time on social media. And goddamn, Dave, you are a funny guy. You're a funny guy. It's it really is so fun to watch people not see what's coming, and you're like a king of that. And
thank you.
Really, really fun. I always liked when we did a couple of gigs together. I was talking about the first time you were my co-host, and I knew you. I knew you were a comic. You'd been on my show quite a few times and were very good and very funny, but I had never seen your stand-up. And
yes.
We went to a gig, and
Governors
out on Long Island. And right when I'm sitting there and you're ready to come on, it hit me. I go, oh my God, no, what if he sucks? I had never seen your stand-up. And then I'm just thinking, like, I have this guy as a co-host. I'm talking about how funny he is. We laugh every day on the show. And then you're just terrible on stage. But thank goodness that didn't come to pass, Dave. I was very, very impressed with your comedy.
I'm just up there playing a toaster like Haywood Banks.
Yeah. Yeah, if you would have brought out a guitar or a box of props, I'd have just left. I'd have just walked away in shame.
I just hear a Jaguar start.
Yeah. What is that?
It's so weird.
Anthony must be in the bathroom. I don't see him out in the crowd anymore.
Strange. He's been in there a while. I hope he's all right. I hope there's not a blockage. Because I've done that too when I've had to go see people live, and it's like some of their first times, and it's like, don't invite people your first time.
No,
they're just going to look at you and always remember you for how awful you were, and then it's like a first impression. You can never correct that. You're
not correcting that. I'm not going to just stick with you going to gigs until you get better. What am I? So yeah,
I'm not your manager. You're a spiritual manager.
One of the greatest situations like that happened was with Stuttering John when I saw him at Governor's out on Long Island. And he goes, yeah, well, what'd you think? I'm like, oh, great. And then the next day I did my show, and I go, I've never got an easier parking spot than that night. I parked right by the front door of Governor, and he got so pissed at me. But
there's a parking lot attendant outside handing out tens.
Yeah. Dave, we are going to have to wrap it up here, but obviously I'd love to have you back. You're the host over there at Normal World on Blaze TV.
Yes, sir.
Your book, Party of One, is available everywhere. Dude, I consider you a dear friend. You're very funny, and I will get my ass down to Texas one of these days, and I'd love to do the show.
Dude, I want you on the show very badly. I'd love to come sit with you in New York. You're one of my good friends, and I really appreciate you, man. I'm glad you're back on the radio.
Yes, so am I, amazingly enough. Thank you, brother. I'll talk to you soon,
my
Dave.
friend. All right.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.